going to head along to the local church in Wath-upon-Dean, I think that's how you pronounce it, and we're going to be doing an interview with author Keith Wood, discussing the books that he's written, the book that he's published today, and see what else we can talk about along the way. There's the church just up there. I can't walk any faster, so I'll do the very best that I can. Keith was telling me that he's sold already 69 books, I think he said. That was before the Business Expo today. So that's a pretty good start. Before it's even published, he's sold them. So, and he's got a list of people interested as well. So that will be good. I think he's planning to order another batch of books because he's almost out. So hopefully he'll have them in the next couple of weeks as well, so we can carry on. He does go to a lot of networking events, so he'll take his books with him to those events to talk about it. I think he said he's got a meeting at a local college to discuss his book with the I'd say kids, but I imagine they're almost adults, if not already adults, to discuss the book, the history of that time, that era of the 18th century, and to so there's a memorial and there's a church. Yeah, to talk about all the things to do with the books that he's writing. So here we go. I'm going to sit on this bench just here, and then we'll get started. So here we have Keith Wood, who's going to be interviewed regarding his book that he published today called One Day in May. Thanks for doing this interview, Keith. So what made you get started with writing this book?
I started really for my own benefit, to keep my brain active. At the age of 76, I wanted something to do. And decided that writing was probably the thing to do. Saw a report in a newspaper from 1767. Thought it was an interesting subject. It was about someone who was living close to where I lived at that particular time, and really it's gone on from there.
Why the 18th century?
Well, partially because of the report that I found that was based then, but also I felt that anything beyond the 18th century had probably been written about quite a lot, and of course there was photographic evidence, whereas in the 18th century there is no photographic evidence other than photographic evidence that we can get today of landmarks, features that still exist today, and that's really, it's the historical aspect that I was keen on.
Now, I've read the book twice, loved it. I couldn't see a difference between, I couldn't make out which parts of it were fact and which parts were fiction, so it was a really good blend. People I thought might have been fiction, you're now writing about in your next book, and I believe you've got quite a few books going on the go that you are writing at the minute.
Yes, I now have done started to do a sequel to One Day in May. That is called The Day of the Spider, and it features at least, well, the main character is in the first book as well as the second one, and it is more, very much more, it's still got the historical aspect, but it is very much more made up.
So very loosely based on a true story.
It's certainly based on factual places.
Mm-hmm.
It moves from Mansfield in North Nottinghamshire to Yorkshire, North Yorkshire, in the Ambleton Hills, to a country estate there, somewhere that I know very, very well because I started my apprenticeship as an apprentice horticulturalist, actually on that estate.
Wow. So you're hoping to get that published fairly soon, or you've got to finish writing it first?
It's basically complete. I'm going through it again now, but it's about ready for the initial stages of publishing. Yes, I'm hoping that it will be available by about September 2025.
We'll hope for that then. So are you just doing local books, local to yourself?
Well, this one obviously, the second one, it obviously moves up into North Yorkshire.
Yeah.
There are another couple that are on the way, which again are the 18th century, relating to the Jacobite rebellion, particularly when it came into the Derby area. The first one is called 6 Days in December, which were the 6 days when the Scots came down and came as far as Swarkston Bridge in Derbyshire before they retreated back to Scotland. It is really a spy thriller.
Oh.
In fact, it's a double spy thriller because there are two characters in there, two main characters in there. One of them is real life, and the other one is fictitious. But at that particular time there were a lot of spies about, and in this particular case they were both double spies, so they were working for both sides supposedly, and it's up to the readers to guess which side they're really on.
So their own true intentions.
Yes.
Yeah. So are they both on one side officially, or
they're on opposing sides.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And do they meet? No, I don't want to ask too many questions and spoil it. Do they meet each other? Are they aware they're both double agents?
Oh, they meet each other very much. So. Yes.
Wow. Wow. So that's going to be quite intense then, really, isn't it?
It is, yes, and very, very much based historically. And in fact, I believe that there will be information in there that has not been revealed in detail before. As the research that I've done, I have found a manuscript written in 1745 by a reporter who worked alongside the Derbyshire Blues, which was a regiment that was made up of Derbyshire people when the Scots came down. And there is some very revealing points in there that I don't think, judging from the rest of my research, that have ever appeared in a book before.
Wow. Key people.
Very much key people.
Yeah. So how long does it take you to research each book that you do?
The first one was about 12 months. The second one, because it is less based on fact, was easier and has probably only been 4 months up to now to actually do the research and to start writing it. The Scottish history one has probably been about 9 months in the making.
At least the Scottish history one has a lot written about it, because it was well publicised rather than just like a little.
There is a lot written about it. My research shows that much of it is conflicting.
Is it biased as well, according to what you read?
It is biased, yes. It is biased most certainly, but it is certainly conflicting. Like simply the thing of the numbers of people, the numbers of Scots that came down. which probably, looking at it, was about 6,000 men. But there is conflicting reports, in some cases down as low as 2,000 men, and in some cases as high as 20,000 men.
Wow.
So there's been a lot. So I've had to do a lot of sifting to try and come up with what is really a realistic figure.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to weed it. You've got to get out all the rubbish, I suppose, and find out what's really
And read
true.
read as much of the written history that there is, and then, as you quite rightly say, try and sift out that information that is biased.
Yeah. And not exaggerated, and yeah.
Try and keep it as accurate as possible.
Yeah. So I assume this takes up quite a lot of your time. What else do you do?
Not a lot. It does. But I don't class it as work. You see, I class it as entertainment. As it's something that I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And I'm also breaking into children's books as well. I'm hoping to do some children's books.
Some?
Oh yes.
Will they all be different, or will they all follow the same theme?
No, I think they'll be different. Well, I'm sure they'll be different. Obviously, from a different audience as well.
Yeah.
And certainly the one that I've started doing now has got something that will interest motorcyclists, certainly old guys like me, who remember the days of the British motorcycle.
A bit different to history.
Yeah. But the advantage of being now 78 next week, is that you have a lot of lifetime experiences to draw on.
Yeah, very true. So what else do you do then? Do you do like any...
I do my gardening.
Do your gardening?
Which is where I sometimes get inspired whilst doing that. Gives you time to think. And I do business networking, so I get round and try to keep up to date with what's happening in the world, and again with real people, because most of my stories, nearly all of my stories, are about the ordinary person, not really about the famous or the rich, although sometimes they do feature in the book, but they are not the key characters. The key characters are ordinary, down-to-earth people like you and me.
So who is the target audience then, the target reader for these books?
I haven't a clue.
I mean, I like history. I learned history at university to some extent, but
I think they probably will appeal to people who like reading about historical subjects. I think they will appeal to people who would like to read about social justice and social injustice, social history, probably, as well as the more normal type of history that's written about.
Yeah.
But I like to think that they are perhaps entertaining enough for other people as well who aren't interested in history. They are stories in their own right, and I try to put some northern humour into it, and some of the characters do speak in a Yorkshire dialect. So in these books, I do have an appendix at the end of them, which explains what the English version of Yorkshire English actually is.
Yeah.
And this will be obviously particularly important for anyone who perhaps lives abroad, or perhaps even those who live in the south of England.
So, I mean, when I read it, I understood it because I'm from the Midlands. But is the dialect different now than it was back in the day?
In most cases, yes. If you go to parts of rural Yorkshire, up in the Dales, up on the old moorland areas, you will still find a few of the old people, usually the old guys, but sometimes the older ladies as well, who still do use a lot of the older dialectic sayings.
Yeah.
So it is still there, but it is something that is dying out. And I would intend in future books, perhaps, to bring it out a bit more than what I have done. I have kept it fairly much minimal in the books that I've written up to now, because I wouldn't want people to be put off.
You're breaking the reader in slowly.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
introducing
Yes.
a little bit
Yes.
each time.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But if thou wants to know more, lass,
I know some people struggle with Emmerdale and Coronation Street, don't they? Some people struggle with EastEnders as well if they live overseas. So, so at least you're bothering to do a dialect, and we don't need to like get subtitles or something.
yeah, that's right.
Well, I think that's all I can think of to ask you right now. I'll probably think of 100 things when I've left. So thank you very much for interviewing with us.
Thank you.